Hello everybody, hope you're tuning in for our first episode on this series of the 4 birds of Maine. And we're starting with a nymph. This is an Arex jig, number 14, a 1/8 bead, and I think this is 8/0 red thread. So to start, we are going to use the actual tail from a pheasant. That is where we're going to get all of our materials for the ever so famous pheasant tail. And the tail that is needed can only come from the male bird, right? The females have a much more drab tail and their fibers aren't as good, so you need a male tail if you're hunting them. All right, so I've just started my thread and caught my bead in there so it doesn't move around. I'm going to make a small red tag just with my thread, going down into the bend of the hook a little bit. There we go. So that little bit of red there will be exposed, and this is a pretty dark red. You feel free to use a lighter red. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about five fibers, maybe 4. Yeah, about 4 or 5 fibers from the pheasant tail, and I'm going to line them up, make sure that they are nice and even. Alright, so we have that, a nice and even tip. And now I'm going to tie them in, and I want the tail to be about the length of the body. Or about the length of the shank of the hook. So that's about good right there. I don't want to make it any longer, any shorter. I'm only going to wrap it twice. Alright, 2 times. Then I'm going to take a brass colored wire. This is small and it's the same color as the bead. And I'm going to tie that in. And I'm going to do 1 wrap. Pull the fibers here, the tag ends, pull them back, 2 wraps, and then I'm going to catch it all the way down the body. The reason I'm not cutting the wire is because it just adds a little bit of beefiness to the body. So I'm going to go back, not all the way down because I want to start building a small taper. That way we'll have a little bit of a taper. So this pheasant tail primarily imitates mayflies. That's the primary imitation. And so that if you're in an area where there are a bunch of mayflies, this is usually a good pattern. All right, so there we have it. There's our, see, it's just a little tapered. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fibers of the pheasant tail and I'm going to catch them in these hackle pliers. Be careful because the pheasant tail is very, very delicate. So these fibers are not super strong. That is why we need the wire wrap over them. Alright, so I'm just going to continue going up, and you'll notice, I mean, these fibers are in excellent condition. This bird was harvested in Gorham, Maine, and it was in really excellent condition. So I'm going to go right behind the bead, just catch it twice, trim it down, give it a few extra wraps just for certainty. Alright, now I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to go once behind the tail, and then I like to get 3 or 4 wraps. 2. Try to make them as even as possible. Get one right before the collar there. Right before the collar. Nice. Alright, now I'll catch that Right there. Alright, so now we have a little body, the wire. I don't like to snip the wire. I like to do what's called a helicopter because it saves the life of your scissors. There we go. Now I'm just gonna make sure. Alright, so now we have our pheasant tail. It's looking great, right? This is a really simple pattern that people have been using for a long time. So a lot of people will put some type of collar, and I am going to as well. And this is Ice Dub Peacock. How pretty is that? It goes really well with this fly. I'm going to put a little bit of wax on my thread here. And then I'm just going to put it on there. And I don't want too much because I don't want the collar to be huge. I want it to be a little bit bigger than the body. Not by much, but a little bit. These fibers are rather long, so you might need to twist them a little extra. Alright, we're going to go 1 up, 2 up. There, see how it's just a little bit bigger than the body. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And then so I'm going to try to make a nice, see that little red collar? It's just peeking out. I want it to just peek out. Not a lot, just, you know, the devil is in the details. So then I'm going to come in and whip finish and try to do it 4 times. That's pretty good. And there you have it. A beautiful pheasant tail jig. These are becoming very popular. The jig styles are making a comeback. They were popular at one point. Can come in and kind of clean up a little bit, because I don't want this one to be super fuzzy. I want it to be nice and neat. So there is our fly. Super simple, super effective. Thank you, Mr. Pheasant, for bringing us this opportunity. Next time we will be doing a soft hackle or wet fly from a pheasant. So I hope to see you guys there.